And good evening, people. How we doing tonight? Thrash Pondo here, and it looks like I just managed to be on time tonight, but only just. I had last minute finishing touches on tonight's trivia game, but it looks like I'm still early because I'm still waiting for some folks to join in, and of course, hero of the channel, Lance Chafin, is here first. Hello, Lance. He says, hiya, Thrash. Lance, hiya to you, too. Hope you're feeling better, dude. Had a nasty headache earlier, by the way, everyone. Lance, hope you have since mended. And a special treat, by the way, today. I'm going to take a little time during today's chat and show everyone the DVDs I'm sending Lance. Told him I'd send him a few DVDs, and I will show you what I came up with. Oh, Lance, you're saying you're okay. Good, good. I'm glad you're feeling better. And Cindy D is here. Says hello, Thrash and all. Cindy, I'm so glad you could make it. By the way, hope you had a good weekend. And Danny Staten's here. Says greetings from South Carolina. Great to see you. Keith E is here. Says Hooper hip hop into the room. Hooper is his pet hippopotamus, and he hip hopped into the room. Hope he didn't take out a load bearing wall while he was doing that. Tug, the unapologetic geek, is here. He says hello again. Yes, he and I were actually among the collaborators, including our good friend Lance here and Scott, where we were finishing up our roundtable Algonquin discussion of post-apocalyptic and dystopian entertainments. Please check that all out on Tug's station. Danny, please do the honors and please give links to all your channels as well, by the way, for the two people who might show up tonight who aren't familiar with your channels. Oh, way ahead of me. Mr. Led is here. Permission to come aboard, Captain. Permission granted. And it's Commodore. Retired. Tom is here. Says, hi, guys. Just listening at work. Yeah, you're pretty married to Sunday nights, I've noticed. But don't worry. I was going to give you a shout out anyway. I probably still will later on. But Tom, I'm so glad you're here with us in spirit and can hear in spirit. Great to see you. Great to see you. Big Guys 45 says, I'm here. Big Guys, so great to see you. Hope you're experiencing much success with your TikTok channel. Sean Innes is here and with us. Sean, how you doing? So glad you could make it. And wave of the hand to you too. Lance Javen says, hi, Mr. Led. Permission granted. Big Guy says, I'm over 1,000 subs now. That's enough to blockade England, but I still quit YouTube a little while back, long ago, unfortunately. Yeah, that whole mess was a real headache for you. I'm very, very sorry. Keithy says, hello, Hungry. I can talk to you now. Good, good. Hopefully Siri continues to be helpful. Gary Carpenter's here. He says, greetings, everyone. Gary, so glad you could make it. Mr. Litt says, thanks, Lance. How you doing? John Hetfer is here. He says, I watched a documentary on rapper Little Peep today. Very tragic, only 21. Sadly, most documentaries these days are actually of the very, very tragic variety. But thanks. Was it good? Perhaps I shall check it out. Big Guy says I'm almost at 400 followers on TikTok. If anyone wants to follow, it's Sparks Dude 1974. Thanks. My flock is everywhere has joined us. Sarah, how you doing? So glad you could make it. She's been putting out some really cool, innovative stuff on her channel. Please, please, please check it out. Oh, and Sarah, I'm wicked sorry. I keep meaning to call you. I still keep meaning to get your I don't think I have your new cell number. Danny, do me a favor, will you? You got my number. If you could text me Sarah's, I'll try to give you a call, Sarah, this week. We've got to think of some kind of collaboration we can do in the not too distant future. Zuplex is here. He says, good evening, all. Zuper, it's always good to see you as well. Let's just see what else we got. My flag there says, I'm okay, Pawns. In my book, Sarah, you're better than okay. You are based. Based as heck, we always say. But I'm glad you're doing okay, all kidding aside. And Miss Sarah says, thank you, T-Pawns, and definitely good. Yeah, we'll definitely have to come up with some kind of A splendid collaboration. Gary Carpenter says, Thrasher, it's my late grandmother's birthday, and day, this is the day John Wayne died. Ooh. So a heavy casualty as far as your grandmother and the late great John Wayne. Thank you for pointing that out, Gary. Rest in peace to both. John says, R.I.P. Adam West, who we lost 6 years ago this weekend. Best Batman ever. Hands down. Hands down. All Adam West. As it says on Dave's channel, all Adams West, just hand down the best. Oh, my Flexus giggle, T-Bonds. Let's see what else we get going here. Oh, and Lynn says, Sarah, have me on sometime. That would be awesome. I would definitely have to. Well, I'd probably have to watch it in replay, but I would definitely check that out. Mr. Lynn says, be back. Have to eat dinner. Mr. Led, thank you for popping in. And please pop back after you eat if you feel up to it. Sheldon says, Superplex my phone. Spell check knows you, brings you up instantly. Yeah. Oh, look, Emily Miller is here. Says, hey, y'all. Emily, I don't know where you're finding a lot of those Facebook posts, but they're absolutely hysterical. Please keep sending them my way. They're absolutely great. Actually, all kidding aside, a couple of them are actually very heartfelt. So I can't say all of them are funny because some of them are almost tragic, but the humorous ones are very funny, and the others are quite thought-provoking, and I want to thank you. Nostalgic Pod Blast is here. Says, hi, everyone. And the Nostalgic Pod Blast is also here and says everyone. So I didn't autocorrect myself, but it's so great to see you. And do me a favor, Jenny, if you could drop a link to the Nostalgic Pod Blast. He has some great stuff out there, and I'm sure you guys would find it all very, very interesting. I still love that thing you did. He did one on the story of the late Colonel Hogan, the late Bob Crane on Hogan's Heroes. Very, very amazing story. I didn't realize there was so much more to it. Lance Javen says, love UFO stuff, don't we all? And my flock says, Lance Epic, as always, welcome to join. Very, very kind of you. Emily says, this is why all of you should find me on Facebook. You really, really should. She puts out some great stuff. Oh, Nostalgic Pablo says, thanks, brother. No, thank you for the great content. Gary Carpenter says, did y'all hear what happened in Las Vegas last Thursday? A UFO and aliens landed in a backyard. I heard that. In fact, I saw that on one of Dan's channels. Still waiting for more input. But Dan, thank you very much for posting that story. Big S45 says to Podblast, can I find you on TikTok at all? That's a very good question. A lot of people do both. Oh, and my flock has just dropped a link. Great, thank you. Sean says, cancel my Facebook account over 10 years ago. I do not miss it. A lot of people going back, actually. So, Sean, I more than understand your sentiment, but it's actually pretty slick these days, if it lasts. Zuplik says, so your Facebook page is filled with humor? Well, I try to fill mine as much with humor as I can, but it's not all humor. Kenneth Wilkinson is in the house, says, good evening, Bob. Mr. Wilkinson, so great to see you. Helen says it's filled with some. Pablo says, remember Project UFO Sundays on NBC? It was a Jack Webb show. Loved it when I was 7. You don't mean Project Blue Book? I remember Project Blue Book, and I thought that was Jack Webb, but I could be confusing a different show. John says, RIP also to DeForest Kelly and Brendan Rogers from America's Got Talent, also lost today. Rest in peace to both of you gentlemen. Oh, Bob Podblast says, not at this time to Big Guys 45. Denny says, bad storms here tonight, OMG. We actually had a pretty good storm this past weekend, but we're better now. It was beautiful today. We could finally mow our lawn. Daryl Johnson's here. He says, Bob, other brother Daryl, how you doing? So good to see you. A lot of people saying hello to Daryl, as they should. Just get a little behind, so I'm trying to catch up. A lot of people having fellowship with each other. Danny says, if you lose me, you will know what happened. That sounds ominous. We'll be praying for you like gangbusters. Lance David says, hit that like button. Thank you. You are so true. My flock has dropped another link. Thank you very much. Zublik says, yes, I do. To the Nostalgic Podcast, I watched it religiously. I remember when Pamela Franklin played a nun who thought she was witnessed a UFO. She was probably just nuts. Could go either way. But I'll just see. Big Guy says, I might crack open a can of V8 juice. Hold on. I could have had a V8. And a lot of people again having fellowship. And what do we got here? 18 people. While I have you here, I'm going to show you. This is the gift box that I put together for Lance. He's been collecting DVDs, and I figured the least thing I could do is give him some. So I went through my collection trying to find ones I thought would be good and appropriate for Mr. Lance. And I have Hang 'em High, a Clint Eastwood Western. I came up with, this is a cool fun pack. It's the Death Wish trilogy. Basically, it's all the Death Wish movies except for the first one, which I assumed you already had. And one more thing. Johnny Depp, the movie Blow. This is kind of an interesting one. The movie this was based on, when he was he's a New Englander, as you guys know, from Massachusetts. When he was on parole, he was living in Dennis, Massachusetts. A friend of mine used to actually drink with him. And when he was rearrested for parole violation. So there's a New England connection to that person, or I would say the Cape Cod connection. Oh, and this is a special gift. This is a bulk pack of vintage sci-fi. There's some great stuff in it here. There's the Idaho Transfer, which we were talking about today. I do a review of it on my channel. In the year 2889, which, again, I did as a 2 for Tuesday years ago. Warriors of the Wasteland, Day of the Triffids, which we talked about today. Killers from Space. Little Shop of Horrors, one of my favorites, the original. Journey to the Center of Time. Some great stuff on here. So, Lance, that's what I have for you in this collection. Now, it looks like I lost a little ground, so I'm going to go back here and skim through to try to catch up. Oh, yes, here we are. Pablo says, yes, Superlex, there are some episodes of Project UFO on YouTube with the original 1978 ads from Chicago Video Museum. Big Guy says, my feet smell like Taco Bell. Yeah. Danny says, yes, I'm cracking open the rum. Tracy Rothmeyers is here from Tracy's Fractured History and More. Says, hey, guys. Hi to you, Tracy. I'm sorry, Mr. Show. I was at work. I'm going to catch it in replay. With Tug's show in mind, I couldn't do it today, but color me there. Tug says, well, actually, your Taco Bell smells like your feet. It's all in how you look at it. Zuplik says, that was one of Pamela Franklin's final appearances on television. I remember she once appeared on Green Acres. Well, Green Acres is the place to be. Pablo says, my favorite snack while I watch Thrash are pizza rolls. This is not a paid endorsement, LOL. I love Gino's pizza rolls, particularly the pepperoni, but they don't make a bad one. It's funny. I used to get those little Gino's pizzas. Do you remember those little pizzas with a nice flaky crust? And I would roll them into sort of a pizza burrito. That was good when I was a kid. Let's see. Derek Carpenter says, Tracy, how's your patient doing today? Tug says, love Blow, the movie, I mean. I knew what you meant, of course. Let's see. A lot of people having fellowship. I just jumped off the page. I'll try to catch up. Bear with me for just a moment. A lot of people saying hello to Tracy. Tracy says to Big Guy, unfortunately, I don't do TikTok. And Lance Chafin is saying, to the movies I put together for him. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. Happy viewing. And let's see what else I got here. Oh, Tug says Lance is gonna have an embarrassment of riches. He certainly will. Well, he already does. He's already into the hundreds. Uh, Terrell Jones says Lance is gonna need a bigger shelf. He certainly is. He certainly is. And Big Guy says, does anybody here like Leave It to Beaver at all? I've been binge watching the series recently on Peacock. LOL. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid. It was when I first moved to Cape Cod. It was on we got like one channel when I first moved to the Cape, and it was on it in syndication. I started watching it when I was 6. Still love the show, and it's funny because that's actually going to be the topic of tonight's show: is forgotten favorites, old movies and TV shows. Let's do 60s and 70s today. You can do the 80s if you want, but I'm going to go way back. Stuff that you watched when it was in syndication, but stuff that you don't hear about as much anymore. So leave Gunsmoke out. I can't remember the last time I put on a nostalgia station and Gunsmoke wasn't playing. I mean, if you want to talk about Gunsmoke, go ahead. But oh my God, what you mean is here? He says hello, Lance and Daryl, and hello to Cindy. Anyway, hello to you as well. What you mean? I think we just jumped. Did we jump again? I'm gonna try to. Ken Wilkinson says we visited Cape Cod Canal last week, Bob. You know, Mr. Wilkinson, buddy, friend of mine, if you get a chance, I still work at that restaurant in Yarmouth. I don't know. You went to the Pirate Museum. That's actually not far from the restaurant I work at. It's the Parma Italian Table, right in Yarmouth. Come on by, ask for Bob. If I'm working, I'd happily take your table. And yeah, I think I did get a little behind, so I'm going to try to catch up here really quickly. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, what you mean? I guess I missed you when you first came in because you said hello to everybody. So, but anyway, yes, hello to you. I'm so glad you could make it. Les Javin says, "Hey Thrash, can you throw in some of your favorite polar ice sodas? You can't get those in a supermarket in your area. I would need a bigger box, but I'll see what I could do. At the moment, I'm out of stock, but we will. Oh, look who's here! David's here. He says, "Hello, Emily. David, so nice you could make it. Thank you for joining us tonight." And that's where Mr. Wilkinson here says visited the Cape Cod Canal. They were doing bridge work up until recently. It was a real pain for people who had to commute. Yeah, there's 2 bridges that go over the canal, and they were doing extensive work, and it was a real traffic was backed up for miles. It was a whole rigmarole. Tug says everything gives me super. Only a problem for my wife. Evan Miller says I binge watched Supernatural on S11 of 15. Oh, series 11 of 15 right now. Podbless says Gas X is your friend. Oh, and Big Guys says hello to David and asks if he is on TikTok at all. And Daryl Jones says we have a cemetery nearby called Green Acres. Well, that's not the place to be. Oh, Les Javen says, I have over 1,000 DVDs now. You'll be sending me some soon. Zublik says, so I guess the energy crisis isn't an issue for you, unapologetic. Why do you think they call him unapologetic? And I jumped, so I'm just going to rush back and try to catch up real quick. Here it is. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Nostalgic says, had a Dallas binge watch in 2018 of every episode movie from 78 to 2014. Have it all on DVD. But I digress. No, that's actually a really cool point. And I love Dallas myself, actually. I thought Dallas was a great show. Big S45 says, mothers and fathers, grab your chicken bones. Emily Miller says, Daryl, we have a mobile home park in my hometown with that brand name. I knew what you meant. Gary Captain says, DJ, it's too bad the cast isn't buried there. Well, valid, but it'd be kind of creepy. But yes, Zublik says, try Modium D. And Nostalgic says that's an awful lot of DVDs. It certainly is. It certainly is. Oh, and David says, no, sorry, Big S 45s. I know a lot of people do. We'll tell them about uh, Big Guy's channel. Nostalgic says, yes, loved the Dallas reboot of 2012 2014, Cindy D. Oh, because Cindy D says, uh, did you watch the new Dallas on TNT Pod Blast? It was pretty good. And Gary Cameron says, Pod Blast. I've got to get another DVD player. I probably will as well, actually. As you guys know, I buy technology even when I don't need it just because it might get someday scarce. So Book says there's a new Dallas. I thought that was canceled. It's not on at this point, I don't think. Let's just see. Oh, yeah, Gary Carpenter says yes, it was. David says that the bridge out east. Oh, yes, there's the two bridges over the Cape Cod Canal are the Sagamore and the Bourne bridges, and they're both ancient. They're almost 100 years old now. There's talk of just rebuilding them. Most Cape Coders would just say, fill in the canal. We don't need it anymore. Just fill it in, build roads across it. But that'd be a little pricey. Nostalgic Pod says Lee Majors joined the Dallas universe in the TNT reboot. Wow, I did not realize that. Keith E says, remember to shout out to our replay watchers. Also send a bucket of yogurt to John if he's watching. Yes, a bucket of yogurt to you, John. Oh, and Tom, I know you said hello, but a definite shout out to you. And of course to House of Alex. House of Alex, if you're watching this in replay, good, thank you. And of course to all the others. Lisa Fields, Music Girl 67, too many to list, but to those of you who do join us but aren't here tonight, I'm hoping that you're all doing well. Cindy D says, nothing, she just jumped off the page. Oops a days. No, I'm good. You were saying something important, Cindy, so I'm gonna I'm gonna try to catch back up here. Here it is. Cindy D says, me too, especially John Ross, in reference to Dallas. Tug says, I should watch Supernatural. I'm sure I'd love it. Tracy asks, how is everyone? I'm doing well. Hopefully everyone else is as well. Tug says, I'm eating a yasso bar, so I'm great. Yay. Lynn says, I'm 9K, Tracy. Emily says, a bridge on 95 in Pennsylvania has a major boo-boo right now. Oh dear, I hope no one was hurt. Tracy says, cool, Lance. And wow, I'm way behind. I'm going to try to scroll through really quick. Unless I went back too far. You guys are very interactive today. Danny says, hey, I'm going to butcher your name, certainly. Rasmussen. I went to school with a Mark Rasmussen in South Carolina. Any relation? Len says Emily saw part of it collapse. Wowzers. CDD says a few years ago was a reboot on TNT Superplex. Yeah, the Dallas reboot. Podbless says, yeah, the Dallas reboot on TNT ended in 2014. Larry Hagman's death killed the show. I can see how it would. And Zuplik says, in the new Dallas, Pam needs a support prof from all this sagging. Dude. And Big Guy says, happy Pride Month, by the way, to anybody here who celebrates it. Lance Draven says, I'm having some zingers. They still make zingers? Wow, that's crazy. David says, no, Minnesota. Cindy D says, fine, Tracy, how are you? Zuplik says, Bobby wears dentures by now. Lance Draven says, anyone like Nutella? I don't know if I've ever had it. Gary Cameron says, I've got a few that need to be replaced. Dentures? Tracy says, Cindy, I'm doing good. Tom says, I'm still here. Good, Tom. Sorry, it's not that busy in your restaurant, but I'm glad you're able to stay with us. Emily Miller says, "Thanks, Big Guy Pride. It just isn't the same with the TQ squad ruining things." Big Guy says, "Nutella is overrated, in my opinion. Sorry." Eric Cameron says, "No, yuck." Yuck. And Tracy asks how Cindy is. Lynn says Nutella rocks. I almost caught up. I almost caught up. I was just caught up and then jumps a daisy. But here, I'm going to go back and Tug says, "Big guys, you had my support with Pride Month, but bad mouthing Nutella. I'm shocked." Zublik says, "Are you kidding me? T-Pon's DVDs are for the old NTSC standard. Today is HD TV. Get with the program. Do you see how many old school TVs I have in my bridge? I should live so long to see the last one give out." What Jameen said, "Tracy is Fractured History and more. Good job." Oh, Fractured History and more. Good job yesterday. Apparently she watched it. Excellent. David says, "Thrash Pad, who's on first? I don't know." "Who's getting on the second? Oh, he's on third. Third." Cindy D says, "It wasn't the same without the original JR Pod Blast." And Lance James says, "I don't know, third base." Gary Cameron says, "DR, who's on second?" Yeah, we all see where this is going. Um, Tug says, "I don't know, third base." There we go. Oh, Emily says, "I eat Nutella straight out of the jar like a boss." I did it with mayonnaise. Tracy says, "Thank you, Mr. Pons, for sharing your husband." Oh, Mrs. Thank you, Mrs. Pons, for sharing your husband. She thinks it's a blast that I do this show. Probably because it gives her a chance to actually watch what she wants on TV. Carrie Carver says, "Yuck, we're back to Nutella." Super says, "I understand Nutella is 50% sugar." Tug says, "I tend to make Nutella and cream cheese crepes for my wife on her birthday." Emma Melissa Zuplex, I flutters lashes. Flirt. Gary Carpenter says Z, and it's good. Oh, and it's got chocolate in it. Pablo says, "My lady had a mad crush on John Ross in the reboot." Cindy, "Whatever happened to the actor Josh Henderson?" Oh, look who's here. John Collins is here. I just want to say hello, Bob, and everyone. I'm just wondering, has anyone ever read, listened to Always Look Up by Michael J. Fox? I'm listening to it now. He's a beautiful storyteller and empathetic. I have not, but it sounds like an excellent story. I will look into it. John, thank you for joining us, by the way. Oh, and I did actually was able to get into the comments section of your last post, and I thought you made some excellent points. So you rock. Tug says, "Am I skeptical that you're that sweet, M?" Oh, Pablo says, "Victoria Principal was my crush." Who didn't have a crush on Victoria Principal? Uh, Evan Moon says, "John, I would love to read that book." I jumped again, but I don't think I jumped very. I'm going to do the reverse. Lance Javen says, "Hiya, Dennis." Yes, Dennis. Hello. I'm going to skip through. Dennis giving us a link. Thank you very much. Dennis DeLeo, the Bronx is in the house. Dennis, so glad you could make it. Liz Gibbons says, "I got 4 watches coming." Oh, excellent, excellent. Pablo said, "Little Debbie's bought Hostess." I did not know that. I did not know that. Gary Carpenter says, "Thrasher, I'm not that old." DVD. Neither am I. Neither am I. Zublik says, "Which do you prefer, Hostess Drakes or Entenmann's?" I really like my Entenmann's, but there's no bad one in that selection. But I really, really like my Entenmann's. Pablo says, "Yes, Gary Carpenter, Andy Gibb chose drugs over Victoria Principal. Didn't work out well for him. They sang nice duets before she left him. I was going to say, didn't she? I thought she kicked him to the curb. But I do remember they did the duet on Solid Gold of uh, what is the name of that song? How can I think of his Dreaming? The only problem is, gee whiz, I'm dreaming my life away. I won't sing it. I have a horrible voice. David says something is cool. I'm not sure what. David says, who wants to go to Alice's restaurant? That was actually in Massachusetts. It was in Stockbridge, Mass, out in the Berkshires. And let's just see what else we got going on here. I think I'm almost caught up. Tug says wasn't Hostess bought out by somebody else after it went bankrupt. That's what the reference to was later on. Emily says, Tug, I most certainly am so stomps foot. Oh, you're so cute when you comment. And Cindy D says, I can understand. Pod blast, Josh was cute. Gary Carver says Victoria dated Andy Gibb. Yes, for quite some time. Danny gave us another link. Thank you very much. Oh, and Pablo says Hostess makes zingers now thrash. And I believe that's so I'm caught up. So if I go down here to my last comment was Pablo says it was Dream. That just seemed way too simple for me. I couldn't believe it was something so simple, but I guess it was. And let's just see. Len says hi, Dennis. So now I'm actually officially caught up. Tracy says I want to go to Bucky's for my birthday. Cindy D says Josh Henderson got arrested for breaking into a neighbor's house in 2018. The charges were dropped. Pod bless. Wow. Someone says, why is it the Bronx? We don't say the Los Angeles. Because Los Angeles is a city, the Bronx is a neighborhood. Gary Cameron says, I saw a guy once eat mayo out of a jug at a baseball game. Ew. I was kidding, actually. That's a joke in Alf. The son is showing Alf how to eat an Oreo by twisting off the top and licking off the white filling. And he goes, hey, that's how I eat a jar of mayonnaise. And that stayed with me all this time. And then Lou says, Zublick's the same reason we say the ATL. Okay. Dennis says, hello, everyone. Hope you don't mind, but I crashed the party. You're not crashing. You're always welcome to the party. Lynn says, what did one clock say to the other clock? See you next time. But I bumped. And Lulu says, Gary, you sure it wasn't vanilla pudding in the mayo jar to freak everybody out? That's the Nostalgia Podcast said Dream. And Zuba says, you are always welcome, Dennis. And yes, Dennis is always welcome. As is said by Gary Carpenter and Wajameen. Wow, I thought it was all cut up and I jumped again. Well, I'm going to stay on top of it if it kills me. Gary Cameron says, no, it's mayo out of the jug. Ew. Tug says, if you wash out an mayo jar and fill it with something like yogurt or Cool Whip, you can gross out everybody. You certainly could. And Miller says, Dennis, you can stay if you promise to hit that. Good point. Cindy D says, mayo is gross. I like it on turkey, and that's literally the only thing I like it on. Keithy says, having worked several Little Debbie's national sales conferences in Chattanooga, they don't move out any of their people to drink. That should say they do not allow any of their people to drink alcohol. Oh, you have to be a teetotaler if you want to work for Little Debbie. Wow, that's a deal breaker for me. Emily says, Tug, I wish I had thought of that when I mentioned vanilla pudding. And Tom says, bought an 8-track of Jimmy Osmond songs at a toy show the other day. Really? And Dennis says, any of my fellow Thrashers remember the Smothers Brothers sitcom before the variety show. Wasn't that one canceled in mid broadcast? Oh, wait, you mean the sitcom? Oh, yes, where um Tommy drowns and comes back as a ghost to help his brother out of jams. Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that. It was the sitcom that was canceled. Gary Cameron says, I finally found Solid Gold on YouTube. No kidding. Nostalgic says, nothing. He jumped off the page. Good God. We got to rock down to Electric Avenue. Miracle Whip is more gross than mayo, in my opinion. I couldn't agree with you more. As does Emily. Tracy says, only thing I like by Little Debbie's is the brownies. I like those peanut butter bars, those chocolate peanut butter bars. Zubik says, we don't say flat bush and T-pawns. All right, you got me. You got me. Jenny says, LOL. Cindy D says, all I have to do is dream. I believe is the duet with Andy Gibb and Victoria Principal. Yes, all I have to do is dream. That okay. All is dream. Yes, that's the one. Emily Lou says Dukes, Mayo, or nothing. Denny says Dukes for life. It must be a local concern. Nostalgic says Dukes is my brand too. Well, I'm blown out of the water. Keith E says hello, Daryl, and everyone else I've missed. It says difficult tonight. Cindy says I can't stand mayo. Tracy says here in the South we have Krispy Kremes and people just die for those. I love Krispy Kremes. Emma says Duke's lovers will fight to the rest of y'all. Says why would it say difficult night? I have no idea. I think he's having difficulties tonight. Danny says I dip my fries in mayo. I've seen people do that. David says dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. One of my favorite lines in Ghostbusters. Everyone says Krispy Kreme started in North Carolina. I did not know that. Podblast said you are right about the song title, Cindy D. Everly Brothers. Yes, I knew it was the Everly Brothers. I couldn't think of it. It was All I Have to Do Is Dream. Patty Duke did a fair cover of the song too. What is it about Patty Duke? Patties live most everywhere. Yeah. Nostalgic Podblast did a whole symposium on the Patty Duke show, by the way. You guys should check it out. Oh, I jumped again, but I'm going to try to. Oh, look who is here. Lisa Field says, hi, everybody. Hey, Thrash. And hi to you, too. So glad you could make it. I'm behind again, but I'm going to try to catch up. So if I skip anyone, please bear with me. Oh, somebody says I was watching Andy Gibb recently. I'm assuming on YouTube. Emily says fries with mayos is great. Good vanilla shake too. Danny says I've tried dipping fries in ranch and everything else. Oh, I love ranch fries. Tug says Miracle Whip is an abomination. Pablo says Swiss rolls, peanut butter bars. The peanut butter bars are my favorite. Yeah, the Nutty Buddies. Yeah, that's them. That's them. And Emily Miller just jumped off the page again. You guys are really on top of things tonight. Oh, Tom says I want a Drake's Devil Dog. Can't even get those on the West Coast. Dennis says I put on 3 pounds since I tuned in. I know. Oh, John Collins says the world needs to know Tracy's live streams are going to be on par with the big three soon. Dave Sundstrom, Thrash Pons, and Pat McCormick. People should just get on the wagon before it's a bandwagon. Oh, good point. Good point. Oh, and Melissa Zuplex, you're the one who said French fries are high in cholesterol. They certainly are. Oh, Tom says joining late. Tom, good to see you. Welcome to the show. Trey says, great T-shirt, Robert. Yes, you guys finally caught my swag. Yeah, I finally got it. It took weeks, but I finally got it. And let's see what else we get going on here. Zuglik says, do French fries leave their zippers open? French flies. Oh, and here's where Lisa tuned in. She says, Hi everyone. Hey Thrash, and hello to you too. Tracy says message retracted, and a message retracted to you as well. And I think I'm just going to scroll down really quickly. Lance Steven says, "Who has the best burgers in a fast food situation, or if you're going to?" I love Five Guys. I absolutely adore Five Guys burgers. I think they're absolutely outstanding. So I'm gonna go with that. If you don't have Five Guys in your area, I'm sorry. Sean says Germans dip their fries in mayo because their ketchup is awful, more like a sugary red syrup. I've heard that before. Keith E says, "Thanks, super. I am emptying out my mayonnaise and putting in vanilla pudding as we speak." Kim and says, "Dennis, don't worry. Someone will bring up some yogurt soon." Elizabeth says, "Must have been a spelling error, Emily." I'm sure it was, whatever it was. Danny says, Duke's. Oh, something about Duke's Mayo. Danny's here. Give me a second. Danny says Duke's Mayo was started in Greenville, South Carolina. There is an actual Duke's sandwich shop still in Greenville. Pablo says the Jeffersons jumped the shark when George Jefferson became buddy buddy with Tom Willis. Yeah, I'll grant you that his lack of social skills was his like trademark. Gary Cameron says that guy was either eating Kraft or Dukes. And I can't say lack of social skills. It wasn't that he didn't. He was actually he could actually be very very charming. He just couldn't stand fools well, and he was surrounded by fools, and so that was his Achilles heel. And he would then shoot off his mouth, and it was his mouth that got him into trouble. Tug says, "Lance, really tough call, but Baconator from Wendy's is pretty amazing." It really is. John H is here. Says, "I despise mayo myself. I used to tolerate Miracle Whip, but I ended up not liking either." David says, "Mr. O, how many licks does it take to I'll come in again. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Let's find out. One, a two, a three, a three." Emily says, "You know who loves your superplex? We all do." Tug says, "Titler Trees Burger in Paradise down in Key West is also pretty legendary." John H says, "I love my Kugel again, especially banana or vanilla. Begged my mother to get me Kugel when I was a little kid. I couldn't get through the jar. It was blah. But my mother did indulge me and she did get it for me. And I was wrong, Mom, as I have been on many occasions. I'm just going to try to catch up really quick because I don't want to make sure I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. I jumped again. If I missed an individual comment, please forgive. But it looks like a lot of people are mostly having fellowship. Oh, Gary brings up a good point. Patty Duke was married to John Aston. She certainly was. David says chocolate Tootsie Pop was my favorite. Big Guys is back. Awesome. And let's see. Cindy D says Sherman Hemsley wanted to evolve their relationship. Pod blessed. He wanted to get past the honky phase. Sherman Helmsley, personally, that was very, very kind of him. But again, taking away the main character's edge. Well, I still watched the show. I still loved it. But I could see how after years of being antagonistic with Willis, who was only trying to be his friend, I could see how that would get tough for Sherman Helmsley to do it. It's like yelling at a nice guy just because they're telling you to. Tug says, "Ain't nothing wrong with Five Guys." Lance is wearing his Thrash shirt now. Represent! And I jumped again. Sean Innes says, "Big Guys, 45. Yeah, and the In-N-Out Burger was good. It surprised me how many good burger places there are in LA. When I lived there, the same cannot be said for pizza, though." Lance David says, "What a burger." Mr. Led, I'm back. Is there a topic or just stream of consciousness? Well, it was going to be forgotten favorites, old movies and TV shows that we watched in our youth. And I'm talking like real old, like ones that when we saw them, they were syndicated, that you don't see a lot of today. Um, I was going to use the example of when I was a little kid, I stayed homesick from school once, and I saw Pinocchio in outer space, and the movie changed my life. It was an animated film, great. I absolutely loved it. Never saw it again. I was the only kid in my school who saw it. People literally didn't believe that there was such a thing. This is, of course, days before the internet. For years, I thought I had imagined it, that there was no such thing. And then years later, I finally did find it, and I felt vindicated. So maybe not something that obscure, but things that you thought were great in your youth that we don't see a lot of today. But it seems like we're doing great in stream of consciousness. Dennis says Paul Winchell was Mr. Owl. That's a great fun fact. I did not know that. Cindy D says Five Guys is good thrash. I have one right around the corner. I heard a horrible story. They were going out of business. I really hope that's not true. John H says the Charms commercial had another voice in Frank Nelson, but his voice was actually omitted. I did not know that. Uh, Nostalgic says Five Guys Burgers is highway robbery these days. I know. I know. I went there not long ago, and I was like, "Are you kidding?" And it used to be they gave you more fries than you could eat. Now the portions are much smaller, but the quality is still good. Emily says, "Hey, Mr. Led, just in time for a chat about nothing." I know, but we have a lot of fellowship and have a lot of fun chatting, and that's always fun. Emily says, "That's what Animal Lover said in Full Metal Jacket." Emily, Kevin Scott 76 is here. Oh my gosh, Kevin, so glad you could make it. Says, "Hi, Thrash. Just get out of opera rehearsal. You lead such an interesting life, and I'm so glad you're here." I'm gonna try to. John H. says Jeopardy once said that a college study found that it took 142 half licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll pop, or something around that. I believe it. Um, Cindy D says we have Freddy Frozen. I'm gonna go backwards again. This is getting. Actually, no, I can't because someone just said I just remember that, and I don't know what they're remembering. I'm just gonna go this way. Oh, we have Freddy's Frozen Custard. The burgers there are great. I'm gonna skip down really fast. Emily says, "So me and a guy named Animal Lover has something in common. Who would have thunk?" Ted says, "Did John Austin adopt Sean Austin? I believe so. Yes." John H says, "Jackson Perico, sitcom critic, said Jefferson's went bad when Luis went nutty. Jenna did the same on Three's Company." Okay. I think that's when Louise went nutty. I don't know. That's a little harsh, but anyway. Zubik says, hunky dude, Emily, played by Adam Baldwin. No relation to the other Baldwins. I know. For years, I thought he was a Baldwin, and he is not a Baldwin. Pablo says, yes, the unapologetic geek bio dad of Sean Austin is Michael Tell. And Emily Miller says, I thought Adam was the baby brother. No, he's no relation. My wife actually told me that. With Bobby is here. Says, hi, hello, everyone. With Bobby, so glad you could make it. Thanks for joining us. David says, when Edith Bunker was killed off from Archie's place, to me, it was pretty sad. It really was sad. Pod Bless says, to Tracy, Duke's acting and camera tricks had me convinced Patty and Kathy Lane were two different people. And John says, Bob, how are you doing with the computer class? My wife has kindly asked me to slow down on the super chats. However, this does mean that if you get merchandise, those coffers would have more room now. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're very, very kind. I'm halfway through the computer class. I have 12 more classes. And Kevin Scott 76 says, ooh, the show where some people were really small, like 2 inches, inch high private eye. And I'm just going to scroll down really, really quickly because I want to make sure. Oh, music, movies, and more with Brian are here. He says, hey, Thresh, just wanted to say hello and thank you for your support of my channel too. Brian, that's very, very kind of you. Dan, if you could do a link to M with Brian. That would be really, really nice. He's been putting out some very nice shout outs, celebrity passing, celebrity birthdays, that type of bit. And they're very informative. And I think I'm caught up. Oh, Edith was killed off at Gene Stapleton's insistence. Yes, I believe I knew that. Pablo says, thanks for the link. Denny State and Thrash Pond to Ponds, you're quite welcome. Cindy D says, I didn't know that about Sherman Helmsley. I didn't either, but it sounds about right. Lisa Field says, message retracted. And a message retracted to you as well. Tracy says, Aunt Esther is once said, why having a lollipop when you have all day sucker, referring to Fred. Too funny. So anyway, we got about 20 people in the house. We're about an hour in. I am going to start the trivia game. Now, this is the part, by the way, where I lose some comments because you tried doing a comment section and a trivia game at the same time. So if I miss anything, I apologize in advance. But today's quiz is going to be on 1970s television. So that's where most of the questions will fall. And as always, I'm going to start them in no particular order. Number 10. In 1978, what famous James Garner starring Private Eye show won Outstanding Drama Series at the Emmys? Was it A, The Rockford Files, B, Hawaii Five-0, C, Barney Miller, or D, Banachek? I shall repeat. In 1978, what James Garner starring Private Eye show won Outstanding Drama Series at the Emmys? A, Rockford Files, B, Hawaii Five-0, C, Barney Miller, or D, Banachek? And it looks like everyone got this one. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Number 9. What TV musical series about a widow and her 5 children forming a family band ended in 1974? A, Fame, B, The Partridge Family, C, The Jackson 5, or D, Josie and the Pussycats? I shall repeat. What TV musical series about a widow and her 5 children forming a family band ended in 1974? A, Fame, B, The Partridge Family, C, The Jackson 5, or D, Josie and the Pussycats? And again, it looks like everybody on the planet got this one, even people who actually aren't playing. Oh, Tracy's on delay. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'll let you catch up. Well, I'm not going to give the answers until. Actually, I already did, didn't I? Well, I'll try to give them slightly more of a gop in between. Podbless says Donnie and Marie. Actually, were there? There were actually 6. Marie had 5 older brothers, but you got me thinking for a second. Okay, question 8. Oh, wait, Emily Miller says, Gary, Zapped was the first movie I ever got to see in a theater without my mom staying with me. Guess what my favorite scene in that movie was? Anyway, number 8. A news reporter solved supernatural crimes in this. I'll come again. A news reporter solved supernatural crimes in this mystery series. Was it A, Barnaby Jones, B, Heart to Heart, C, Quincy M.E., or D, Kolchak the Night Stalker? Some of you got it even before I was able to finish reading the question. I shall repeat. A news reporter solved supernatural crimes in this mystery series. A, Barnaby Jones, B, Heart to Heart, C, Quincy M.E., or D. Kolchak the Night Stalker? And yeah, I was going to say, Danny, if you don't get this one, I'll be ashamed of you. Oh, John has a question. Bob, I have a question. Do you have automatically set up to like all my Facebook posts, or do you actually click the like button on all of them? If so, that is so heartwarming, my New England bro. Yeah, I don't click auto like on Facebook for two reasons. One, I didn't know it existed. I'm also no hypocrite. If I don't like something, I'm not going to like it. Also, sometimes the other icons are more appropriate. Like sometimes the haha is more appropriate. Sometimes the single tear, like people can stop it, is more appropriate. I live in fear that one day I'm actually someone's going to mention their spouse dying, and I'm going to accidentally hit haha instead of the single tear. But no, I specifically like all of your stuff specifically. Oh, and Nostalgic says Barnaby Jones is way better than people realize. Amazing guest actors and writing. Um, but that's what. Yes, everyone got it right. It was Kolchak the Night Stalker. Moving on to number 7. Michael Landon played Patriarch on what family drama which premiered on NBC in 1974? A. The Smith Family. B. The Waltons. C. Little House on the Prairie. Or D. Family. I shall repeat. Michael Landon played Patriarch on what family drama series which premiered on NBC in 1974? A. The Smith Family. B. The Waltons. C. Little House on the Prairie. Or D. Family. And you guys are mopping the floor tonight, by the way. Oh, little thing I should say, and then I'll ask one more question and we'll get scores. But I borrowed my questions from this big book of TV trivia to make them a little more gettable. So I hope you people are enjoying them more than my really archaic ones. But I'm going to move on to number 6. Okay. How many seasons of Wonder Woman took place in the 1940s? A1, B2, C3, or D0? I shall repeat. Oh, and yes, borrowed. I borrowed them. I will return them when done. Again, how many seasons of Wonder Woman took place in the 1940s? A1, B2, C3, or D0? 0. And that wasn't the answer. I'm actually trying to say it with a faux French accent. Life and Set ending this year. Oh my God, Steve, how you doing, my buddy? Um, I'm sure all of you have already subscribed to the Life and Set ending, but Dan, if you would be so kind, while we get scored. Actually, we're not going to get scored in just a second. But he says he doesn't know. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of you are getting this right. It was, in fact, 1. But I actually got this one wrong myself, actually. I could have sworn it was 2. I thought it was really the last season that was set in present day. But no, the correct answer is A, 1 season. And how about we get some scores? While I'm waiting for the scores, I'll try to. Dave says 1940. Oh, no, the 40s. Took place, actually, just after the war. I believe, yeah, just after the wars, I think. When it. Danny says, for punishment when I was a kid, my grandmother made me watch Welk and Little Stupid House on the Prairie. I liked Little House. I had a crush on Melissa Gilbert. John says, Little House on the Prairie. Your quizzes used to be the Dickens. Now they're what? More akin to Angel Food Cake. Thank you. Nostalgic Populist says technically it was 2 TV seasons of Wonder Woman since they were specials that aired between 75 and 76. The 1976 season went weekly in 76, 77. Oh. So you know what? If you said 2, give yourself credit. We'll make this even easier. Emily Miller says, I wish there had been more seasons that took place in the 40s. I way preferred the 40s. Oh, and we're getting some scores here. John got 11 of 2. John, I'm very impressed. Zublex is 4 for 4. You skipped one? All right. Todd is 5 for 5. Dennis is 5 for 5. Johnny says, I think World War II was a mid-season replacement. So again, if you want to say 2, give yourself credit. Johnny is 4 for 4. Brian is 5 for 5. Lisa Fields is 5. I assume for 5. Keith says 4 out of 5. And hello, Steve X. Pod Blast says season 2 and 3 of Wonder Woman were on CBS. Were modern. Cindy D is 5 for 5. Emily's like 5 for 5. I'm in shock. Emily, don't sell yourself short. Johnny says ABC had it in the 1940s, CBS in the 1970s. And Gary Carpenter said, I wish they had made more Wonder Woman in the 40s. Yes, I believe that pretty much we all do. Sean says, I missed the Partridge Family question. Oh, really? Okay. Kenneth Wilkinson is 4 to 5. Keith says, update to 5 out of 5. You got it. And Johnny says all of them right. I guess 5 out of 5. Yes, you are. I was wondering how you get 11 out of 2. Dennis says no, we're doing fractions tonight. Anyway, I'm gonna pick it up and carry on with question 5. What 2-part miniseries adaptation of Stephen King's vampire saga debuted in November of 1979? Was it A, The Wolves of Kala, B, Song of Susanna, C, The Dark Tower, or D, Salem's Lot? Tom, I know you're going to get this one, but I shall repeat it either way. What 2-part miniseries adaptation of Stephen King's vampire saga debuted in November of 1979? A, The Wolves of Kala, B, The Song of Susanna, C, The Dark Tower, or D, Salem's Lot? And, oh dear, somebody said B. Oh, Jay-Z. Jay-Z, welcome to the party, by the way. Sorry you missed the first half of the trivia game. You can watch it replay, but glad you're joining for the second half. Danny says a lot, as in thanks a lot. And Steve says they just tore down the Partridge family's house. Oh, that's very sad. Oh, that's very sad. That officially bums me out. But yes, D. And Emily was right. Short for Jerusalem's Lot. Yes. That of course is part of the lore. But yes, it was Salem's Lot. Moving on to number 4. Oh, this is a good one. More people watched Elvis's Hawaii comeback concert than what famous historical event? A, Secretariat Triple Crown win. B, Battle of the Sexes tennis match. C, the Apollo moon landing. Or D, Nixon's inaugural address. I shall repeat. More people watched Elvis's Hawaii comeback concert than what historical event? A, Secretariat's Triple Crown run. B, Battle of the Sexes tennis match. C, the Apollo moon landing. Or D, Richard Nixon's inauguration. And apparently everyone in the world is getting this one. And why not? Only one of those was a historical event. Yes, it's C. But yes, you guys got it. You guys are doing so good tonight. I'm so proud of you. Yes, and he's like, Nixon? No, it was the Apollo moon landing. Zublex, Battle of the Sexes tennis match? No. Anyway, moving on to number 3. When the current version of The Price is Right debuted in 1972, 50 odd years ago, Who was the host? A. Bill Cullen. B. Dennis Thames. C. Tom Kennedy. Or D. Bob Barker? I shall repeat. When the current version of The Price is Right debuted in 1972, apparently there was an earlier show called Price is Right, which had a different premise. Who was the host? A. Bill Cullen. B. Dennis Thames. C. Tom Kennedy. Or D. Bob Barker? And yes, the price is wrong. It was, in fact, Bob Barker. Here's a good one. Who replaced Farrah Fawcett in Charlie's Angels? A. Susan Anton. B. Adrienne Barbeau. C. Lindsay Wagner. Or D. Cheryl Ladd? John, did I mispronounce that name? I may have written it down wrong. I wrote this down in kind of a hurry, but I thought Dennis Thames was what I wrote. Oh, Dennis James. I'm still going to read it, even though you guys already got this. I'm still going to reread it. Who replaced Farrah Fawcett in Charlie's Angels? A. Susan Anton. B. Adrienne Barbeau. C. Lindsay Wagner. Or D. Cheryl Ladd? And I'm still at D, but I wish it was A or B. But yes, everyone in the world got it right. Oh, Nostalgia brought up something interesting. Makes me mad that he went off the page. Oh, wait, there it is again. Makes me mad that starring. I'll come in again. You keep jumping here. It looks interesting. Here we are. Makes me mad that starting this fall, Price is Right is changing studios, leaving the Bob Barker studio before the man is dead. I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, but history. Hollywood is not known for its sentimentality. And the number one trivia question for this trivia game is: what animated series, which taught children history, science, math, and more, debuted in 1973? My lovely wife, who's just passing, shouted out the answer, by the way. I don't know if you guys heard it, but she was correct. But she's laughing now. Was it A? Some of you were answering before I give the answers. A. Schoolhouse Rock. B. Bugs Bunny and Friends. C. Super Friends. Or D. The Animaniacs? I shall repeat. What animated series, which taught children history, science, math, and more, debuted in 1973? Was it A. Schoolhouse Rock, B. Bugs Bunny and Friends, C. The Super Friends, or D. The Animaniacs? And the entire world got this one right too. Gee, it's actually fun when people actually know the answers. But yes, Schoolhouse Rock is the answer. Now, Cindy D says, number 9, I'm just a bill. I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. And we're all getting some scores. Tracy was 7 out of 10. Keithy is 10 out of 10. I don't feel any smarter. Zuplex is 8 out of 10. What do you mean is 10 out of 10. Tom says, what's everyone's favorite Schoolhouse Rock segment? Mine would probably, believe it or not, be rocking and a rolling, splishing and a splashing over the horizon. What can it be? Where it talks about the origins of the United States. That one's probably my favorite. Although Conjunction Junction is a hard nut to crack. Anyway, other scores. Yeah, Dennis likes Conjunction Junction. Lisa Fields got 9. Sean Innes got 9 out of 10. Oh, he didn't hear question number 2. I'm sorry, Sean. Brian got 10 out of 10. John H., I guess I'm 9 out of 10. Dave got 100%. Emily Miller got 10 out of 10. You rock. Cindy D got 9 for 10. Nostalgia Pablo says Adrienne Barbeau is 78 today. She should have won some Golden Globes. Tom says history. Nah. Cindy D also likes conjunction junction. Tracy says conjunction. Danny says the cheese guy. Time for Timer. He wasn't Schoolhouse Rock. He did an after school special on the workings of the human body. How oh you guys know the guy who was the Otis in a Griffith show plays these kids' uncle. He's in really, really bad health. And the kids shrink down and go into his body and try to see how the human body works. And he drinks and smokes and eats bad food and is trying to teach people how to eat healthier. But I don't believe that was considered part of, although he did a lot of commercials showing how to eat healthy and whatnot. Tug says Emily is beating people. Shannon says conjunction junction. What's your function? Working out phrases and blah blah blah. John H says no more kings is the name Thresh. Yes, thank you. Yes, it is called No More Kings. Very good, very good. Oh, Gary Cameron says Clint Eastwood is 93. I thought he was 98 to be honest with you, but I knew he was 90 something. Yeah, he was just on one of those It's Alive and Kickings. I'm assuming people look a wagon wheel. Steve says Adrienne Barbeau was born in June, and just like June, she is busting out all over. Naughty, naughty, no biscotti. Johnny said Timer did 2 after school specials. Hal Smith, thank you. Hal Smith was Uncle Carl, and they do another one with the big sister. There was a second one. I do recall. But everybody was the first one with Uncle Carl. Jenny says, "I hanker for a hunk of a slice of a slice, a chunk of. I hanker for a hunk of cheese." Ziplik says, "I thought Bob Barker hosted Truth or Consequences back then." I remember Truth or Consequences. I don't think he hosted that. House of Alex is here. Oh my gosh, House of Alex is here, guys. Stopping by on my break. Hope everyone is well. If you haven't checked out House of Alex, he does. I refer to them as mirror dramas. He does these like minute movies where there's like some humorous thing going on, and he does both parts, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Sorry, losing my voice. It's a lot. It's a lot. They're a lot of fun to watch. He does a great job. If you haven't checked out House of Alex, please do. Danny, please a link if you will. Brian says I just did a video on Adrienne Barbeau for her birthday. Yes, I thank you. I believe I knew that already. If I haven't, I'll definitely watch it. She was great. Keith says Bob Barker, dead host, Truth or Consequences for years. John H. says Harrison Ford did home cable work for Valerie Harper before he made it in the movies. Tom says loved Adrienne Barbeau and Escape from New York. How could one not? Gary says, Brian, it's also the death of John Wayne. Yes. Danny gave the link. Thank you so much. You're very, very kind. Simply says Bob Barker is very old. According to Life, he is 99. Steve says, Keith E. I watched him on T or C. Cindy D says both Betty and Bob were on Match Game probably at the same time, too. I believe you're right. I believe I've seen clips of them together. Pablo says new Indiana Jones movie is almost here. Wonder if it will be any good. House of Alex says thanks for the shout out, Thrash. Always appreciate it. Gary Carpenter says she was great in Swamp Thing. I love Swamp Thing. I really did. I thought it was great. And Brian says the nostalgia Paul bless. Thank you. David says critics hate it. I'm assuming you mean the new Indiana Jones movie. I've kind of tuned out of the franchise, I'm afraid. I might check it out. I might wait till it comes to home theater. And Shannon says Adrienne was also good in The Fog, one of my favorite horror thrillers. Pablo says yes, Swamp Thing. 1982, a fun movie with Gary Carpenter. Mr. Lynn says, look up her dance segment for the Maud show. Wow. Yeah, she was on Maud. She played Maud's daughter. Brian says, Gary Carpenter, thank you for letting me know I may post something tonight. Lisa Field says, I love Swamp Thing. John H. says, Bob Barker was born the same date as Bob Darhew, who did a lot of Schoolhouse Rock videos. They were born December 12th, 1923. So Bob B will be 100 in December. Crazy. Keep your fingers crossed, people. Emily says, my dad had a huge crush on Adrian. Tom says, never listen to critics. Keithy says, hey, wait a second. I was a critic. You of all people should remember that. Keithy said, Steve, you're 1 year older than me, like super. We're all in the same exact time. Daryl Jones says, Bob Barker hosted Truth or Consequences from 1956 to 75. I stand corrected. I do remember the show. I just don't remember. I was like a little kid when that was on. So I don't remember who the host was. And Dennis says, yes, Bob Barker is a big animal rights activist. With a name like Barker, I know. David says they had a couple of Swamp Thing movies. Yeah, the 1982 one, I think, is the really good one. Nostalgic Pop bless his message detracted, and a message retracted to you as well. How is it for time? Oh, it's like 8:45, folks. My voice is starting to go. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm thinking we should probably think about wrapping things up at this point. If I didn't get to all your comments, I take that as a tribute to you guys. You guys were super, super interactive today, to the point where I really had to work to keep it up. If I didn't get to all your comments, please, 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 forgive me. Again, sometimes there'll be 1,200 comments because I always check the scoreboard the next day. And, for 20 people, that's a lot. You guys are like really, really interactive. And again, you guys drive the show. You guys make the show. I really couldn't do the show without you. It would literally be me just sitting here talking to a camera. But I want to thank you guys for showing up tonight. I'm going to keep doing the Sundays for a while. Big news is the last week of school, and my schedule should free up in the following week. So I might even get back to like doing a second show. Who knows? I wish I miss doing 2 shows a week, to be honest with you. But I have to do one more shout out here. Gonzo out there says, my hero is a zero schoolhouse. Hey, thrash. I remember Zero, my hero, in Schoolhouse Rock, and Gonzo. I gotta tell you, I love the stuff you're putting out. That new faux news, I thought was absolutely hysterical today. And Denny, thank you for doing the links as well. But again, I just want to say I want to thank you guys very, very, very much. I will definitely, definitely see you next Sunday. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't checked out Tug's channel, please check out the podcast we did today on post-apocalyptic and some dystopian film. Very, very, very proud of it. And Scott, shout out to you because I know you were trying to come by tonight. I guess you couldn't make it. Hopefully you'll see it in replay. It was a pleasure working with you today. And when you see this in replay, thank you. And that goes for everyone else who couldn't make it tonight. Mike Silva. I'm always so on the spot. I'll shut her down and say there were like 18 people I should have said shout outs to. You guys all know who you are. You know I'm also very forgetful. But to everyone who couldn't make it and watch and replay, please leave a comment and I will give you a personal shout out in a comment reply. But anyway, guys, have a great week. Be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking to see you all again very, 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 very soon. Oh, and Keith, he got one last one in. Baked Bean. Thank you so much. Baked Bean is one of the most loyal people in replay mode. It's like, I'll tune in the next day, and there'll be 3 comments by Baked Bean. It's like he watches the whole way through, commenting as he goes. So while you guys watch live, he watches and comments as in replay. And I got to give him a shout out as well. Thank you for reminding me. And to anyone else who I've missed, guys, feel free to listen to the comments below. But anyway, have a great night. Again, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking to see you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.